To be honest, I would like to cover as shortly as possible the topic of patriarchy, because you also mentioned my book, even though I admit I changed the title in the last second. So it's like, it's not the end costly, it's Skin and Games. However, you quickly mentioned my book, and therefore my past with also 2 years having experienced prostitution in Berlin in a super safe setting. However, I come from some kind of, I have skin in the game. And so like, oh, wow, I'm not getting so well along with intimacy. And those clients in the brothel, neither. That's kind of interesting. So I would like to talk for a few seconds about patriarchal structures in the society, just to bust the myth that in patriarchal systems only women would lose. Because what got so obvious for me as a sex worker is like, everybody loses, everybody misses intimacy and trust and safety with the other sex, or those ones that we relate to sexually. And I think that is happening on both sides of the sexes in a patriarchal system. And here is why. In a patriarchal system, and that's opposite to a matrilinear society, we have to track which father is the father of which son, because the lineage of families, etc., is organized around the man. And for a man to know which son is from me, he has to control the sexuality of the woman he's intimate with. In other words, we have a tiger wanting to make love with every fiber in his being to his tigress. And the humans put something tragic on top. In order to do that tiger, you have to put your beautiful tigress into a prison. And she will never forgive, because she's a being of freedom. So because she's starved from touch, she says yes in the first place, because she never got something better, never something really unconditionally. But she will never forgive that for this surrender, this opening, she will end up in a prison. And for the tiger, this is so insanely brutal and tragic, because the tiger is wired for freedom as well. There is no urge in our nervous system towards captivating somebody that we love. Love and freedom are so much the same thing, like two frequencies of the same basic force in our nervous system. We are wired for setting those ones free that we love the most. But the moment that a son grows up in a patriarchal system, he grows up with all of the accumulated mistrust of the women around. It's like, your father has put me into a prison, etc., etc. So I'm the weak sex, I'm the woman. So you are the sex that is too much, and you are too strong. And you are a perpetrator just because you have a male body. So a patriarchal system offers to at least heterosexual men only a mixture of, you desire somebody, you love somebody, but at the same time you are bringing some kind of poison, you are bringing some kind of danger or threat to the other party. And this nervous system shrinks and does not only trust but also feels unsafe. And there is nothing that you can do about that, because you are read as a man in a patriarchal system. And when we look at matriarchal systems, they are in peace. Why? Because it's so easy. In order to get which daughter is of which woman, so easy. Just somebody has to be present during birth, or has to be somewhere around in the circle or in the family. So we do not have to control or possess each other in a matriarchal system. And that's also incredibly important, because women are not the better sex. I mean, just speaking for myself, I'm certainly not better than any other person here. And it's like, women are not the more loving sex or the more social sex. It's just a biological advantage. advantage is the word, compared to us structuring the lineage around family and who moves to whom and who marries whom and who decides about which last name, etc. It's just unpractical. We just did it the wrong way around. And at the end, everybody loses. And especially what I learned in this extreme, which is not so extreme, to be honest, it's not so spectacular, to be honest, in this extreme example of sex work, I saw so many clients not coming to me in order to abuse me and there is nobody around, but in order to confess how deeply they miss the women's body being full of trust and gratitude. Not in a way that we women learn it like, yes, honey, you have been great, but in a way of just being intimate with you makes me even more strong and even more confident and even more safe with myself. So that's the kind of gift. You make me being richer in myself. And men, in my observation, are starving for being allowed to give this honesty of their love and this power of their love without being misunderstood by the layers of collective sexual trauma projection. And there is nothing that us women in this situation can do besides taking so serious what we already are taking serious, being wounded ourselves, shaking, letting go of the stress and not owing it somebody else but ourselves. So that's just, I wanted to quickly give a portrait of the culture that we are coming from, because I think it can give some kind of deeper understanding that it's not only a decision to heal sexually on a collective level, it's also a matter of fact. It's just a matter of fact. We are deeply mistrusting each other when it comes to relating. Like, I'm too weak in order to feel safe with a man. That's insane. I'm a tigress. I can kill whoever I want. Because I've been studying that for billions of years. And so can you, no matter which sex you are. And us being withheld from this truth in our instincts, just in order to fit into being a good girl and being an attractive man, that's not worth it. It's just so not worth it. Yeah.